Good afternoon, and welcome to the Memphis Room. My name is Scott Lillard. I'm one of the librarians here in the History Department at the Benjamin Lick Central Library. With me is Skyler Gambert, one of my colleagues at the Orange Mound branch. And today we're going to be talking about some films that the library digitized, specifically related to Beale Street and blues. I'd like to thank briefly the Memphis Library Foundation because a lot of these films were digitized through their support. And with that, Skyler, I guess we'll get started.
Sounds good.
All right, man. This first one is a old French documentary on Beale Street.
Today, it's a no man's land, a dead street.
That's Bill Ferris, founder of one of
to Beale Street is happening all over the United States. Old buildings and traditions are disappearing. 20 years ago, Beale Street was the center of black music.
He was a
For music lovers,
Yeah.
Beale Street is a place of pilgrimage.
he was one of the people who helped found the Center for Southern Folklore and everything.
Blues were a familiar sound.
Europeans love the blues.
They really do. They really do.
Behind these storefronts, down these hallways.
We'll actually get a bit more of that later. Now, next up is going to be, I believe this is Ma Rainey and Lily Mae Glover. Sorry, Ma Rainey and Little Lord Dukes.
Right.
Yeah. That's Beale Street when it was in ruins.
Two senior citizens remembering the good old days on Beale Street, spending a sunny day in the park, and at their age,
Yep.
probably looking forward to
You got Ma Rainey on the right, Little Lord Dukes on the left. Singing in a wheelchair. You don't see that very often. All right.
At
it's
75,
pretty
Ma
dynamic.
Rainey #2 spends her evenings belting out the blues, and Little Laura Dukes.
I can't remember where this is. We've actually got some interviews with Little Laura Duke. We got, yeah, I think you did.
Yep. We transcribed them.
Yeah, I think we put that online.
I love this because she's performing without a ukulele. I only know her for
Really?
ukulele music. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's okay. I didn't know she did ukulele
Yeah.
music. Okay,
If you look her up on Spotify, it's only ukulele music.
okay. I can't tell if you're joking or not.
I'm not joking.
Okay, all right. And then, yeah, Lily Mae Glover, she's actually Ma Rainey the second. There's actually a previous Ma Rainey, kind of like blues royalty or something like that, the title.
Good time.
And they do their
Moves.
work well. They should. Both Laura and Ma were there when it all began.
I was quite young.
I think this was shot in like the early 80s, if I remember correctly. This is from the collection of Harry Godwin. I mean, you know him, everything. He was a blues folklorist back in the day. He collected a lot of this stuff, and he's part of the reason why a lot of this stuff survives.
You've got a pretty extensive collection of his stuff.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Comes from a line of musicians.
See, my daddy, he played with W.C. Handy.
But getting on stage was her mother's idea.
She was teaching me.
She was a tiny little thing.
Hence the name.
Yes, that's descriptive.
Let my namesake be in the show with me. So daddy said, all right. And I wasn't but 5 years old. That was 1900.
I believe she's talking about her family
Yeah.
heritage. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, they did this urban renewal on Beale Street in like the 1970s where they, Schwab. Yeah, they bulldoze a lot of old dilapidated buildings. There's what's Silkio Sullivan's today. That building with Nathan's Loans is still there.
It's a different world before they did that.
I know. It's kind of sad. I actually am really sad that I didn't get to see Beale Street in its heyday.
Blues Awards.
And just to think, I've lived my part mostly on Beale Street. I was down there when you was getting donuts for 3 cents, coffee for 2 cents,
They had a place called a 1 Minute Cafe. I don't know if you heard of that place back then.
No, I haven't.
They had that. Anyways, I bet you she's kind of talking about that.
I thought of how much a beer costs today when she was talking about $1
man.
donuts.
Oh man.
It can get pretty expensive on Beale Street.
Yeah, well, now it's a tourist trap.
Right.
We'll just, yeah.
People of all ages come from all over the country here.
This was shot in like a U-matic, like a 3/4 inch tape, and as we had it digitized. I think it was like, run on one of the local TV stations or something back then.
I'm from North Carolina, and they have bluegrass music there, but it's not the real blues. And this is the blues, and this is the best.
But it's not just the music that people come to hear. It's also, as you've probably noticed, Ma's special brand of humor.
I am Ma Rainey #2, 75 years old, and ain't never had enough of it.
She's got a lot of energy and everything.
After
like,
Ma gets them going, Laura takes over, and it's time for Ma to, well...
Now when I get the blues, get me a rocking chair. Oh, when I get the blues, get me a rocking chair.
I feel like a lot of people assume the blues is slow music, but a lot of it's
No.
very upbeat and
No.
high energy.
No, it is very...
I think Rufus Thomas is later in this, right?
Yeah, he is. Rufus is the biggest ham on earth. Like, talk about a guy who likes being on stage. He enjoyed it. We got, I think it's Memphis Slim up next, if I remember correctly, at the Peabody. Yeah. No, I think we're about to hit a transition. Nope, maybe not. No. Yeah, I can't remember which club this is, but if this is like Alfred's or something like that, it might be. We got it on Dig Memphis. I also should mention that everything on here is currently on Dig Memphis at the moment. So if you want to look, if anybody wants to look at any of it, feel free to go online and just Google Dig Memphis, and you can then you can find a whole ton of stuff. Yep, Memphis Slim at the Peabody. This is actually right at their grand opening. I think in 1981, the Peabody was actually closed in the 1970s. If I remember correctly, Jack Bell's, he was one of the people who kind of pushed to get it. Well, he bought it and then they got it fixed up and reopened it and everything.
2,000 a night. He has no maximum.
Yeah. Memphis Slim, he was part of that, the Chapman family that was it's like
Blues royalty.
I think you transcribed one with
Sam Chapman.
Yeah. That was his uncle. And there was 5 of them, I think. Chapman brothers.
They were the Memphis Sheiks, or do I have that wrong?
I think
they were involved in the Memphis Sheiks.
Yeah. It's I know. Yeah, he was the nephew. He was one of the nephews of Sam Chapman and everything.
The freight is changing because young musicians grow up differently now.
They wouldn't know it.
Yeah, you can tell it's it's in the lobby, where they have the ducks and everything. So
They can only listen to what I have to say or what other people have to say and go from there.
Does that bother you, that maybe the blues that we know might not continue?
It bothers me to know that the blues will continue, but what bothers me is that the black people are losing the blues. Even now when I'm in Europe, a lot of people think the blues came from England. This would bother me because my people are not really pushing and not really staying with it like they should.
I wonder who his business manager was. They were talking about him making $2,000 a night or something like that.
Somebody knows how to negotiate.
Yeah.
Then. Oh yeah. We were talking about how Europe really loves the blues. This is a great example because he's I think he talks about going to Europe, or maybe he just did. You and I have both seen this thing before, so you know.
Those days back in the 30s on Beale. Memphis Slim could not have even stayed at Peabody back then. Now he's playing for the grand opening and celebrating his birthday.
I think they like to say the Mississippi Delta ends at in the lobby of the Peabody, and I think it like starts in like the Vicksburg and everything.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Memphis Slim appears in concert at the Peabody at 8 Wednesday night.
I think we got Rufus up next. Nope, B.B. King. Never mind. This is more that French documentary.
B.B. King, king of the blues, even agreed to share his memories with them.
The earliest sounds of blues that I can remember was...
This thing was done in the late 1970s. Yeah. This is on 16 millimeter film.
Or maybe one guy would take his hoe and chop way out in the front of everybody else. I usually would hear this guy sing.
He appears later as well.
You don't see B.B. King with an acoustic guitar very often.
Really?
Yeah, he's mostly got that guitar, Lucille.
You would know that. You would know that better than I would. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're more of the blues guy than I am.
Try to be.
Yeah.
In concert halls all over the world, B.B. King sings blues from the Delta.
There we go. That's Rufus. His daughter, Carla Thomas, liked to call him the biggest, the world's oldest teenager.
You can't help but want to move with it. Ask Rufus Thomas.
He was known for, I think it was the funky chicken and everything.
That's right.
This is more from the collection of Harry Godwin.
You stay fine.
Some interesting editing.
I know, they little I don't know, frenetic or something.
1800s did bring more than the clothes on their back. They brought music. So had
More on Rainey.
preceded them. The folk music of both cultures came together in a sound uniquely American, the blues.
I'm of the opinion.
That is Harry Godwin.
Okay.
That's actually Harry Godwin. He's the guy who, we have to thank for saving a lot of this stuff. I think he was a business manager for a lot of these guys, a lot of these people and everything.
It's a feeling. It's just a feeling. Blues is a feeling. Blues.
For example, I know he's got a lot of stuff on Jelly Roll Morton in his collection, and various other things. And I know he had some stuff to do with Furry Lewis, if I remember correctly.
Right.
That's another one I think you transcribed.
Right.
Furry lost his leg in a railroad accident.
A combination of lost love, hard times, and the victory over both that is inherent in simple survival.
Even if somebody's singing about hard times and problems, I would feel, and I think most people hearing the blues would feel that they've been through something like that. The blues are designed to reach somebody and establish a common bond.
David Evans is a professor of music at Memphis State University and a blues folklorist.
I think the appeal is simply...
We'll hear about the Center for Southern Folklore again in a second, because I know they do, they do a lot of stuff. It's related to preservation. I think we'll see Judy Pizer. Nope, there's more of Harry Godwin.
He had been wandering around in the Delta, and he'd been hearing some of the sounds that you and I have been talking about, field cries and work songs, and he'd been to the churches and listened to this so-called country-type preaching and singing. But he never thought that it had real commercial value, he says in his own.
You're in the process of working on that collection?
Yeah. I'm trying to.
That'll be really exciting to see what's all in there.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of audio and everything. I'll say that.
Now, was the Memphis Blues alternative title always Mr. Crump?
Yeah, because it started out as this like campaign song. Guys, like for Crump's first mayoral campaign in 1909. Guys, and so yeah, there's also some lines in it that are related to prohibition, if I remember correctly. Anyways, Mr. Crump don't allow, Mr. Crump don't allow, no barrel housing anyhow. That's where they had Nathan's Loans.
Mostly on Beale Street. I was down there when you was getting donuts for 3 cents.
And this is more about how it used to be. I think this may be a repetition of the earlier thing.
Right.
They kind of use the same footage in both these little specials that they do.
So that's the reason I want Beale Street back. I had a hell of a good time on Beale Street.
But while Beale Street was
I really wish we had more footage of Beale Street in its heyday. I really do. I have to mention that if anybody would like to donate, footage to the library, we definitely do take donations.
King and many, many more.
And there doesn't a week go by that somebody doesn't call me
Yep.
from Sweden or France or something.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got some of the stuff that's on his desk in there, I wouldn't be too surprised.
For some reason or another, has this appeal, and
This guy, I think he's president of a society, I'm trying to remember.
here somehow or other they find it and they get it into their.
Joe Savrin, president of the Blues Foundation.
Blues Foundation.
Back home to Memphis. Last summer, the foundation sponsored
I think that's in Handy Park, if I remember correctly. I think so.
annual Blues Awards, but the foundation is aiming higher.
And we're going to film it, and we're going to make some inroads in those directions, hopefully, so that our young people know what their musical heritage is.
The Center for Southern...
There's the Center for Southern Folklore.
I didn't realize it had been around that long.
It's been around since the 70s. I know they digitized they did the Reverend L.O. Taylor collection, which is really something. That's Judy Peiler, who ran the center for years. She just retired.
Wow.
Her and Bill Ferris were the two people who kind of got it going.
There is evidence that Memphis is moving to support its musical heritage. Progress is being made on the redevelopment of Beale Street, and there is at least one annual blues festival.
Oh, little kids learning how to play the blues.
An exciting effort is being made by Nancy Ferguson.
This is apparently one of their initiatives back in the day. So.
There's some great footage of Sidell Davis on YouTube teaching a classroom of kids how to write a blues song.
Okay. I know we've got photos of Furry Lewis, guys at the library, at some library concert or something like that.
That would be cool to see that happen, something like that happen again.
Yeah. Anyways, there may be a tape of that in Harry Goblin's collection. I'm trying to remember. The New Daisy. Oh, this is Rufus Thomas and Ruby Wilson singing a duet in 1985. Yeah, this is a part of a tape from Memphis in May 1985. So I remember that. I do love Rufus. He died, I think, in 2001, if I remember correctly.
I kind of feel like he was the missing link between Beale Street and Stax.
Yes, yeah, because he was on the MC at the Palace Theater for a minute. He's I think he did amateur nights there with Nat D. Williams. And then, you know, they discovered B.B. King and things like that. But yeah, he's definitely identified with Stax for sure.
Mm-hmm. He's also in Mystery Train.
Oh, okay.
The Jim Jarmusch movie.
Oh, I've seen a poster of that film. He's like, I didn't realize he was in that film.
Mm-hmm.
Here we got B.B. King out in I think he's doing a concert for prisoners, actually. I think, if I remember correctly. And I feel like I may be imagining that, but no.
And from there,
Yep.
The thrill is going away from me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is out in the Delta somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where.
it's Mr. B.B. King, known the world over as the king of rhythm and blues. But here
He's going to talk about his origins, I'm sure, some point.
this guy's got heart, and his story is a true American success story, if ever there was one.
No, B.B. King stands for Blues Boy and everything, if I remember correctly.
His rise had a lot to do with radio, right?
Yeah, because he was like, you know, he was on WDIA.
Right.
Like, you know, they had him and, like, you know, he knew Nat D. Williams and they got together, I'm sure somewhat. Because Nat D was the disc jockey at WDIA and I think, if I remember correctly, B.B. King definitely had some involvement with WDIA. My memory's a little
I think his first hit was a jingle, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You might know that better than I do. All right, so yeah.
Oh, somebody can fact check that.
Yeah.
Just outside Indianola. But things began to change when he hit his late teens.
I got into blues because on Saturdays,
Yeah.
after work,
BB was alive for a long, I think he died
In
like,
2014 or 2015.
Really? That
Yeah.
recent? Wow, okay. He's like,
I was downtown the day they did the funeral march.
Oh. Because like he was very young when he started out in like the late 40s, early 50s. Like, you know, he was like in his 20s, and you see pictures of him, and he's super skinny. He looks like a skinny kid and everything.
There's a good Ernest Withers photo of him in shorts.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which is pretty funny.
I believe it. He doesn't seem like a shorts guy to me.
Right.
Although in Memphis, it's hot as all get out, so that makes sense. More shots at Nathan's Loans building.
I usually would buy pretty nice clothes because a lot of times people thought
At least maybe I might be wrong about that.
you use a lot of money for a suit. That, you know, you was just doing that to be well groomed. Not.
But yeah, he had I wonder how many Lucille guitars he had.
I don't think he had very many replacements, if any.
Somewhere.
He definitely wasn't smashing them on stage.
No. He's not like Tad Falco where you
Take a chainsaw.
Take the chainsaw that's in different genre and everything. That's a very different genre.
And BB came about.
For years, B.B. played what was called the Chitlin Circuit. Real
At
fame.
downtown somewhere. I feel like maybe I may be wrong. There may be it might be someplace else. He's talking on Natchez.
As a star first.
But it was obvious on this recent trip back to Indianola, the ties to home are still close.
Oh, he was born in Indianola. Okay.
Tell everybody that B.B. King's in town.
I now know how the prodigal son must have felt.
I wonder if he got his start in gospel. Am I imagining that or no?
I mean, I'm sure that had something to do with his mix of musical influences.
Because I feel like a lot of these people, they had their roots in gospel to some extent.
Well, that's the dynamic, is the sacred and the profane.
Yeah. Because blues was kind of seen as a little bit, you know, not fit for church and everything.
was it like singing with B.B. King on the radio?
It was beautiful.
I don't know who that is. Well,
But it just didn't pay like they will pay for singing the blues.
It was the blues or it was church. Okay, that's where they got inspiration from.
Yep.
Yep. They're talking about that interplay between, like, you know, the church and then, like, you know, blues.
Guitar, but you'll never see him playing Lucille and singing at the same time.
I can feel my playing while I'm singing and feel my singing while I'm playing. And they both just don't seem to coordinate.
If you do plan to see him perform, you can count on seeing him. He's rarely, very rarely ever canceled a concert.
You got people that are doing everything to make this possible.
I'm sure he toured Europe as well. It's like, you know.
So one me don't show up hurts a lot of people. So.
Also be sure to check out our website, Dig Memphis, periodically to see if there's anything more that we digitize and put online. We're constantly trying to put more up there.
I believe live it in the future because it tells the story about people, what people do, in a lot of cases why they do it and why they have not done it. That to me is blues in a simple form of talking or telling a story.
Outside entry should always be forbidden. Problems should be.
It's funny how little playing he's doing.
He's mostly doing singing, and he's letting the other guys play and everything, which is like, you know. I think that's about the end. Well, Skyler, what'd you think?
I thought it was awesome. It's great to see historic footage like that and see all those guys when they were young, because so many of those players we only know as older folks.
Yeah, a lot of those guys are not there anymore. It's kind of like, you know, it's really, I know, like, it feels like you're looking into a lost world or something like that, kind of. Anyways, because Beale Street is definitely not the same.
No,
like,
not at all.
It's been built up. Anyways, not to put a damper on what like has been built, but I do kind of miss the days of when, like, you know, it was in its heyday and everything. Well, but yeah, I really love seeing Lillard, Dukes, and Ma Rainey.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, thank you all for joining us today. It'll take a look at some old films that are part of Memphis history. And Skyler, thank you for being here, man.
Of course.
I really appreciate it. You know more about this stuff in some respects than I do and everything, because I think you've actually researched blues more.
Oh, I just listen to the music too much.
Okay. But thank you, and I hope you join us again when we take a look at more old films. See ya.
Friends of the Library helps to raise money for all 18 Memphis Public Library locations, their programs, and services. Donate as a one-time monthly or yearly contribution to help us continue to serve the approximately 2 million customers who enter Memphis Public Libraries annually.
You're watching the Library Channel, a broadcast service of the Memphis Public Libraries and the City of Memphis.